Either Keke Palmer's relationship is a show, Keke Palmer is a fool because she literally has a newborn baby and she is doing things that will tear her family apart. So she's either putting on a show, a fool, or there's a third one I can't think of anymore. What's good, y'all? LoneeAppleton. I'm a healthy family advocate. If that's your content of choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, reposting videos with your community so we can grow, as well as putting a tip in the tip jar, purchasing some merch, and picking up your copy of What's the Best That Can Happen at LoneeTaylorArt.com. Yeah, so it's all a show. And we even know it's more of a show, whether it was intentional or unintentional, because it was followed up with Winnie Harlow. And then it was followed up with Saweetie. I don't know how to say her name, but you know who I'm talking about. So it's all a show. And then we, as the general public, are debating the quality of woman. Like, we are pitting black woman against black woman against black woman, who only that black woman knows the dynamic of her relationship. And half of the people, probably more than half, given the statistics and the fact that y'all don't want to admit that you're a problem. Mind my business. The fact that y'all don't want to admit that you're a problem, more than half of y'all debating what these women in these relationships should do. You ain't even in a relationship and you don't have any successful relationships in your wake. But you are debating on what this girl in a relationship should do. But I really want to get on the heads of those of you who are cheering her on, to really want you to see what this is. Just because her man does not have the emotional maturity to not act out publicly. Let's take Keke and her dude off the table and let's just speak generally so you figure this is who I'm talking to. You. You ain't gotta punch me in my face, homie. Just because her man doesn't have the whatever to not take it public. So let's say this is real life. Does that mean Keke needs to retaliate? Or should Keke have some compassion because she's not looking to be offended? She knows in her right mind, not her reactive mind, her right mind. She knows in her right mind that this man would never do anything to hurt her, known or unknown. So if Keke knows that her man would never do anything to hurt her, why would her reaction be to then publicly humiliate him for our entertainment? What's good, John? LoneeAppleton. I'm a healthy family advocate. If that is your content or choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, posting videos with your community so we can grow, as well as tipping the jar, purchasing some of the merch, and picking up your copy of What's the Best That Can Happen at LoneeTaylorArt.com. Yeah, so that means Keke spoke to everybody in her advisory, and I believe Keke is one of the celebrities where we know her mama, and she got one of those I know my stuff kind of mamas. You mean to tell me she talked to everybody in her team, and everybody in her team told her, this is how you need to respond to the father of your child, your newborn? You think that's the advice that she received, and she was like, bet that? You think that's what really happened? Like, let's use our logical brain. Do you think that's what really happened? I don't think it is. I think that it was a setup, but let's just say this was real life and it wasn't a setup. And he did his public situation, because men do that. Women do that too. I've definitely publicly humiliated my husband by talking slick online. And this isn't in the videos. This ain't talking slick. Like I said, if you think what I'm saying in these little videos is something with him right there, you ain't seen nothing coming out of the Lonnie mouth, because some things have came out of this mouth and these fingertips. Y'all want to wonder why y'all's relationships are broken up and you can't be with the child of your father of your child. It's because you couldn't resist the urge to publicly humiliate him. You couldn't resist the urge to pull receipts and snap back. Like, some stuff deserves a ride. Why? Because you chose him. You should have had some freaking standards before you reproduce with him. But since you reproduce with him, you gotta figure out how to make it work for the sake of the child. You can't be so damn selfish and throwing such a tantrum that you can't even deal with this man no more while you were giving him the coochie just a week ago. 9 months. So I just need us to stop and think. Stop and motherfucking think. What's good, y'all? I'm LoneeAppleton. I am a healthy family advocate. If that is your content of choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, reposting videos with your community so that we can grow, as well as tipping the jar, purchasing the merch, and picking up your copy of What's the Best That Can Happen at LoneeTaylorArt.com. We stopped and we thought that those of us who are in a relationship, just by sheer statistical numbers, our friends are not in relationships. If our friends are in relationships, they want to be in a relationship so bad they're in a crap-ass relationship, but they could say they're in a relationship, and some of those people get married. So you sit here looking at your friend who's married and thinking, oh man, she's got the prize. No, she's fucking miserable. She's stuck. She can't admit it. But that ain't none of my business. Anyway, if we just sat and thought about how many people around us talk us out of our relationships, and we feel justified because of the treatment, but we chose. Like, we opened our legs up. Dang, you gotta take me out. We opened our legs up to the dude to have a whole baby by him. And then we want to keep the baby away from him because he's not fit to be a father. Did you think about that before you open your legs up and you decided to keep the baby? Did he just become an ain't crapper when you got pregnant? I get it, they do. Yeah, they weren't crap before, but I romanticized. They didn't get mean until I got pregnant. But yeah, neither one of them showed me that they would be good fathers, but I lied to myself because I said, well, they're fathers to the children they already have. No, they're just with the women that have the babies that they already have. They're not being fathers to those children. They're homosexuals. Anyway, what I'm saying is you can't have these babies by these men and then turn around and keep these men away from these babies because you don't like him. So now this child is living with a deficit because you don't like somebody that you allow to enter your body and leave their seed inside of you and then choose to carry said seed. You chose that. So you can't now throw the ultimate temper tantrum that impacts your child and then flip it and say it was his fault. Who chose him? Who chose him?